Okay, so we're 5 episodes into Skeleton Crew now, and I can genuinely say that this might be one of the best Star Wars shows. We're gonna break down this episode and talk about everything that happens because I've just been so impressed with this show so far, and this episode elevates that even higher. Before we get started, if you guys are new to this channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. We're on the road to 2,500 subs, and we could honestly hit it with this video. I would love to have you here. Also, if you leave a comment, I most likely will respond. I wanna know all of your thoughts and all of your theories regarding Skeleton Crew. Now, let's break down this episode.
I'm Spider-Man.
We actually start this episode off with the parents of the kids, and I wasn't really too interested in their story. I kind of wanted to stick with the kids, but with this episode, that kind of changes. The parents are actually going against the rules of At Aden and are trying to find a way to contact and find their kids. We now see that something really weird is going on with At Aden. They're kind of doing all of these duties for seemingly no reason, and we get more confirmation as to what those duties are later on in this episode. Wim's father is trying desperately to find him, and so are the other parents, and he actually gets caught, but luckily the supervisor is one of the other kids' parents, I believe KB's mother. Back with our crew, we get a really nice moment between Jod and Wim, where Wim is kind of homesick in a way, and he wanted to go on this adventure for a long time, but now that he's going on it, it's pretty scary. And in this moment, Jod gives him words of wisdom. He actually says one of the lines that Qui-Gon says in Phantom Menace to Anakin. So while he doesn't seem to be Jedi, he's definitely familiar with their teachings and their ways, and definitely the Force. After rebooting 33, they find some information out about his previous master, the legendary pirate. 33's former master is Captain Rened, a legendary pirate who Jod even knows. As the story goes, he was on his way to At Aden, the planet that was supposedly full of treasure, when his crew betrayed him. As we've seen, the ship had crashed into At Aden, and the crew and his mates were all long gone. So there's still a little bit of mystery here, and I'm really excited to learn more because we actually see a hologram of him later on in this episode. Their goal is to find Captain Rened's treasures, so they go to this planet called Lupa. It's basically Hoth, but with more water and a much more peaceful atmosphere. This is a peaceful planet where people go to relax and vacation. However, children aren't allowed here, so they have to come up with disguises. This was just really fun to see, and again, I'm loving these characters. I really am enjoying the show overall, and the fact that we're only 5 episodes into this brand new world of characters, and I'm knowing all of them, and I'm relating to all of them, says something. Look, like it or not, Star Wars was originally made for kids, and it still seems to be that way. You're not always gonna like everything, but you have to admit that this series is definitely catering not only to younger people, but the younger people's sense of adventure is also very appealing to adults like me. And we also have Jod, who is kind of our lens as adults, you know, seeing what the children are doing. On this planet, Jod actually runs into a former bounty hunter that he interacted with, and she recognizes him. In secret, she calls upon the pirates that we've seen in the previous episodes to come and capture both Jod and the children. There are so many cool things about this planet. We even see a hut bathing in the mud bath, and that's another thing I want to touch on real quick. The amount of creatures and different species that we've seen in the show is amazing. My favorite being Cathalops, the Cthulhu-inspired creature that the kids actually run into underground. The kids are telling him stories, and he actually helps them discover the lost treasure. And when the kids are on the way to the treasure, it's kind of like Indiana Jones and, again, Goonies. There's traps everywhere. They're trying to find a way around without getting hurt, and when they finally figure out how to get to the treasure, it's a stereotypical plunder full of gold. Not only gold, but there's a lightsaber there. This feels like an adventure. It's lighthearted, but dangerous and serious and funny. I mean, it's got all of the great elements that make a show or movie great. And here is where things get really interesting for the story. We find out that Captain Rened is actually from the High Republic era, and he's from the Nihil. And while I didn't read any of the books or the High Republic comics, I'm aware of who the Nihil are and their importance to piracy in the High Republic. So it's a really cool connection here, and more importantly, connecting the Old Republic. You know, back in the day when we just had the Star Wars movies or the Clone Wars and Rebels and things like that, we only ever dreamt of hearing about the Old Republic. We always had those great video game cinematics, we always had the great games, but officially in canon, there wasn't ever much. And it looks like they're actually bringing the Old Republic to light here, and that's very exciting for me, considering all of the characters that we can potentially play with in the future. They finally find the coordinates to At Aden, but the kids are betrayed by Jod. Everyone has been telling these children not to trust him, several people in this episode even, and guess what? They were right. It turns out that At Aden is a mint planet, meaning that this planet was designed to make currency for the Old Republic. It in fact might be the last planet producing this currency, which is basically infinite treasure. So with Jod knowing this now, he actually tries to take the position of captain from Fern. He begs her to submit, but he's willing to actually hurt her for this, because he knows that the droid 33 only obeys the captain. So Jod betrays the children, but Wim actually picks up the lightsaber in a very heroic moment, but he turns it on upside down. Not mad at it, because that's very in character for him, and I'm sure we're going to get other moments like that with him in the future where it actually plays out for him. Luckily, the children do escape, but Jod gets the lightsaber, and then the episode ends. Great adventure, great character moments, great developments in the storyline, and also just a great cliffhanger. Is Jod a former Jedi? Is Jod just a Force user? Is he a Sith? I had a thought as the episode ends with the sound of the lightsaber igniting, with Jod holding it, maybe, just maybe, when he ignites it, it bleeds red. I was thinking that's maybe why they didn't show the color when he had it. Look, this series has everything for me so far. It's got story, it's got heart, it's got intrigue, it's got mystery, and honestly, I'm just looking forward to next week. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but this is one of the biggest surprises we've had from Star Wars, and I can't wait for more. Like I said before, subscribe to the channel, guys. I would love to hear what you have to say down below. Leave a like on the video, and I will see you all very, very soon.